In this video, let's talk about the truth about debt consolidation. But before we get into that, I want to share how these videos work because I'm building my personal finance community in public daily. It's called Dollar Discipline University. But what we do first is we go through the YouTube comments on the channel. Think of it like a YouTube Q&A session. I want to provide immediate value to you. And then, the reason probably why you clicked on this video, we're going to talk about the truth about debt consolidation inside of my community, Dollar Discipline University. We talk about a lot of things debt related, so I definitely have some thoughts. I paid off $43,000 of debt myself in just over a year with sort of the stuff that I teach and share inside the community. And then at the end, maybe we can talk about some activity that's been going on in the community that I think you guys will find extremely valuable. So the entire reason that this video even exists is because I received a comment last night from a good friend of the channel here, Double O Scheiden, our Double O agent. She's our secret agent in the community. And she inspired this video. And I know that a lot of other people have this question. So I thought it'd be a great idea to sort of just chat about it. So she said, what do you think about using a consolidation loan or a HELOC to pay off high interest debt? I've heard one opinion that it simply just moves the debt and it's better to stay the course on a snowball or avalanche method. However, credit card interest rates are insanely high, and they definitely are. I'm just going to sort of like and heart this so that way when I refresh, it will be there, and we'll go through this. But amazing question. Community member, thank you so much. So the way I wanted to kind of think about this first is, I have to draw this. And I think there's really 5 debt payoff strategies that exist. So I want to kind of talk through each of them now. So number 1, actually we're going to go in order of my least favorite of the 5 to my favorite. So number 5, and this one's going to sting, I think. No strategy. How is that a strategy? How is having no strategy a strategy? Well, what do I mean? What do I mean by strategy? Or no strategy? Obviously, anything to try to pay off your debt is probably better than not even having a strategy to begin with. So what do I mean by no strategy? I mean things like there's no tracking going on with our debt. We have no idea what's going on. Maybe you don't know minimums. I would say only paying minimums. I'm gonna get canceled for this one for sure. I think we're gonna get some people upset, but hear me out on this. I could kind of go on and on and on, but basically it's just you're just loafing around and you pay debt when you want to or when you whatever. So let's talk about this one. Let's talk about only paying minimums. I don't think this is a strategy because minimums are literally the least amount of money that you can provide to your lender before they penalize you with fees and all this other stuff. It's literally the least amount of money that you can give. So I don't think that is a strategy. It's just like it's literally the bare minimum. So you're doing something like you're paying off debt. It's definitely better than maybe these two, but I would lump all of these into sort of the same category here. Unfortunately, if you guys disagree, you can let me know. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward, right? I think everyone can understand that. Number four is a balance transfer. I hate balance transfers personally, and here's why. So we all get, and I'm sure if I pulled out my email now, I could show you if I just typed in balance transfer, how many there are. Because I have credit cards. We all probably have credit cards, right? We all have financial institutions, so banks, whatever. All of these places have these balance transfers because they're such a good deal for them. They're a good deal for them, right? Because we can get really easily enamored with the idea of, oh, it's 0 interest for, 18 months. And that sounds really, really nice, especially if you have high interest rates. It sounds really nice. But what's kind of behind all of this is there's usually like some small percent fee for the transfer after maybe 60 days, 90 days, whatever, 60, 90 days. There's, well, really, there's just like a transfer fee. So that's another small percentage. And they all vary, right? So I'm just going to say, let's say there's 3% transfer to like, to actually transfer. I don't know how to write. Here we go. 3% transfer and then 3% fee. This is what I meant to write. After like 60, 90 days. So they're assuming most people aren't going to pay it off here. These windows could change, of course, right? And then at the 18-month part, you end up having to go and get another one. And what happens is it's a continuous cycle. I promise I know how to spell. Continuous. There we go. It's a continuous cycle, and I've seen people do this all the time, where they have maybe 3 to 6 balance transfers that they're balancing, and they're trying to figure it out. And it's like, oh man, I have a balance transfer coming up in 2 months. I have one in 5 months. I have one in 6 months. I really need to start looking into other balance transfers to balance my balance transfer. It's just kind of insane. Is it better than no strategy? Yes, because I mean, technically it's a strategy. And if you definitely have a plan to pay off your debt in this window here, 18 months, 12 months, whatever they give you, and then you eat up these little fees that occur along the way, but it's done by the time, you know, the period ends, then kudos on you, because that's great. But unfortunately, and the reason why these financial institutions have these is because they know a lot of people just are not going to do that, and they're just going to keep staying in this hamster wheel forever and ever and ever. Again, if I had my emails prepared, I don't know what's on my email. I don't want to just share it, but I would probably have so many. Okay. Number 3 of my, I guess we're going from least to favorite types of debt payoff strategies. This is the consolidated loan. Okay. So it's like middle of the pack. And let me just sort of reread our 00 agent here question. High interest rate, yeah. Moves debt, and it's better to stay the course of the snowball. Okay, so I think anyone saying something like matter of fact here, like it's better to stay the course on a snowball or avalanche method, or it simply just moves the debt. So in a vacuum, like maybe those are true, but I don't like to, like this one especially, like it's better to stay the course on a snowball or avalanche method. I get where people are coming from if they're saying that, but it's not always the case, and it won't be the case for everyone, right? So basically how I think about this is like this. We have, of course, let's say you have 5 loans, right? You have you've got like 12%, 14%, 18%. Am I running out of space here? 25%, 28%. If you have something that looks like this, where maybe your average is something like, I don't know, maybe it is like that 20% or something, that's probably worth looking into. And if you're able to get maybe, I don't know, 8%, 10%, 12%, something like that, then that is a significant jump for sure. So if you can get, 8, 10, 12%, I would say that that is something worth looking into at the very least. Now, you do have to consider there are credit score implications. So you do have to be aware of that. So I would kind of look into that. Obviously, everyone's situation is going to be a little different, but that at the end of the day, you are in a way just taking the debt that you have and opening another line of debt to be able to like pay it off, right? So you're adding another debt, or I guess like you're opening another debt cycle, if you will. So that's just something to consider. I do think, again, I think it's worth it. She did mention here that credit card interest rates are insanely high, and that is true. So if you have a lot of 20+% interest rates, it's definitely something to look into. I would shop around. There's plenty of sites out there. Like if you just do like consolidated loans, I don't even know what's going to pull up here. It's all these like SEO articles for it. But like if you go to Lending Tree, for example, like it's like a place that looks at all all of them. Like they consolidate everything, and then they get like affiliate links kind of thing if you pick a financial service that, whatever, if you pick one through them. But it's just like it shows all the rates and compares and everything. So like I don't know how good your credit would be or anything like that, but it looks like some of them you can get to 6.7% depending on your personal situation, right? So obviously do your own research and check it out for you, what's best for you, but it's an option. It's definitely an option. So this is the order so far. So as you guys are going through this, let me know what you think. Have I not mentioned one that you're thinking so far? So we're going to go to number 2. My second, I guess, what is this now? My second favorite? Yeah, this is my second favorite. I would say, here's what I would do. I would say 1B, and then there's going to be 1A. Okay. I would say that these are closer to first for me than 1 being in second. Avalanche method. If you don't know what that is, it is simply paying off debt highest to lowest interest, highest to lowest int rate. Okay. Yeah, so how this works is, let's say we have these interest rates right up here. We have 12%, 14, 18, 25, 28. So basically what you would want to do is you'd pay all the minimums for all of these, and then the extra money that you're hopefully putting towards debt would go to this one first because it's the highest interest rate, right? And then once that one's paid off, you roll all of that money into the next one. And then the next one, right? And you keep going. And I'll kind of talk about these together. So my favorite one is the snowball method. And the advantage here, or the situation here, is that this is paying debt smallest to largest, like the loan amount. And my fat head's in the way. Sorry about that. So if we have, 5K, 10K, 20K, 40K debt, we would kind of do a similar process where we're paying all the minimums, and then all the extra money that we are hopefully applying towards that goes to this one, right? And then we go to here, and then it all rolls into this one, and then it all rolls into that one, okay? I like this one the most because I think, so here are the benefits to each. The snowball method will likely give you that quick win because you're paying off the smallest debt first. So you're likely going to be paying off that one faster. You'll be paying off a loan faster than if you were to use the avalanche method, potentially, likely, okay? It's most likely, unless your smallest loan amount is also your highest interest rate, which is certainly possible. But what this does, and dealing with so many people in their personal finances and coaching and all this other stuff, I've really seen that the power of just taking action and seeing results is humongous. So the people that have had the most success with me, it had nothing to do with me. Some of them give me small credits, but it had nothing to do with me. It's the people that were most willing to make a change and that stuck with it and had a plan and they knew what they were doing and they just made it happen, and they were so excited to pay off like that first one or the one that was giving them the most trouble, right? And it's just so I think the mental aspect of debt is, in my opinion, more important than the dollars. Because we have to build up the habits first before we should worry about the dollars. I think everyone's all worried about like how to do the dollar thing. Like, oh, how do I, make all this money or save all this money or do all these sexy money things, right? We have to stick to the basics, the foundations. And I think that's where the snowball method comes in my opinion. And that's why I rank it slightly higher. Now, if someone were to come to me and said, hey, I'm going to pay off my debt using the avalanche method, I was like, wow, that's great. You've already thought about this. That's amazing. the benefit here is it's going to be you're going to save more money, because if we're attacking that highest interest rate first, the reason why we're in debt for so long, and again, I'm talking to myself too, because I was in debt for a very long time until my wife and I drew a line in the sand. We're like, we're not doing this. We're not doing this again. We're stopping here. This is where it ends. We had debt too, and we were yeah. So attacking the highest interest rate is the advantage of the avalanche method. Oh, I just kind of crossed through it there. That's fine. You guys can still read that. And so this benefit is obviously like, okay, if you can have that mental fortitude, sort of that fortress, and just like, I don't really care about my feelings. I just like, I want to save some money in this process of doing this. So you might have to wait. Like, for example, let's say your highest interest rate is this 20K, right? So you'd have to pay off this 20K first. That could be tough. That could be years, right? And maybe in the meantime, maybe one of these gets paid off with their minimums or something. I don't know. But like, just think about it that way. Whereas this one, it's like you would pay this off, 4 times faster, if the math worked out that way. So yeah, that's how I kind of think about this. So if we zoom out for a second, I'll try to get all this on the screen. 5 debt payoff strategies. So first, no strategy. I am sorry if that upsets you, but when I say no strategy, it means you're not tracking or thinking about it. You don't know minimums, or maybe you're only paying the minimums. Doing the bare minimum isn't going to get you the result. Think about that in anything in your life, right? If you do the bare minimum at your job, like that's not going to get you any results. If you do the bare minimum with your, I don't know, exercise, that's not going to, whatever your hobby is. So everyone has a hobby, right? Think about what the bare minimum of that would look like, and then how successful or not successful you would be. And then transfer that knowledge and skill to just paying off debt. It's like, oh, okay. So if I, say you like gardening, and it's like, well, if I did the bare minimum of gardening, I'd probably have a crap ton of weeds in there, right? Don't come to my house, because right now that's our problem. We're doing the bare minimum out there. So that's just what I think about that. I think inside the community, and we could talk about it a little bit, I talk about the power of $100 and how the power of $100 every single month applied towards your debt just makes such a huge difference. Okay, that's why I'm just so against just paying the minimums. We got to find a way to increase some sort of debt, like make it happen a little faster. It doesn't have to be $100 tomorrow. It could be just 50, whatever. It just start somewhere. Start trying to apply more money towards your debt. That's really like what I'm after here. Balance transfer. Personally, I hate them, but I understand if you pay them off in this period and you have no interest, then kudos to you. What I don't want to see is, and I hate seeing this, is when you have this continuous cycle of just, now you have to keep like a tracking sheet for all your balance transfers, right? Because it's like, oh, this one expires in 2 months, 3 months, 5 months. It's just crazy. I mean, it's crazy. So please don't do that. But I understand that it's very enticing. Consolidated loan could be helpful if you have a higher average loan. So I just walked through some examples and everything like that. So make sure to do research, I would say. Like I don't hate this, for example. You are essentially opening up another loan. There are credit score implications if you care about that. So just kind of do your research on that, because everyone's results will vary. I don't want to say something too specific because it might not apply to everyone, right? And then the avalanche method and the snowball method, please choose one of these. Please. Green. Please. So to get back to your question here, credit card interest rates are very high. Have you tried, what does it look like? I don't know. I don't know if you're in Wealthway yet, my debt tracking and budgeting software. I don't know if you are yet. But in the community, there is a debt-free calculator. And if you want, I can send this to you specifically if you don't have it. But play around with these numbers. But I think you did sign up for Wealthway. So I think you'll be in there soon. And just play around with like if you were to add a little extra money to your monthly payments, like how fast you could have it go down. Like, could you get rid of your credit card payments faster with adding $100? I would check that out. I think that's worth it. Um, and then yeah, either one of these is great. Either one of these is great. But yeah, thank you so much for your question. Um, um, and oh, I guess I didn't talk about this, but the HELOC. Um, I don't have too much experience with the HELOC, to be quite honest with you. I know the people that I've worked with have had them, and it's. I feel like the way it's being used, I feel like it's okay. The way people use it, it's sort of like just an account that you can just like kind of draw from or pay to, and it just seems like this sloppy way to like have a debt open. Um to be quite honest with you, I don't want to like lie and try to make something up. I don't have enough context to answer that, but the other stuff I absolutely do. So yes, I would say it simply moves to the debt. I would see what the snowball or avalanche method looks like, but at the same time, if you're able to go from a 20% average to like 10, yeah, 8, 10, 12, or even if it's like a few percentage points, and it makes a lot of sense. Actually, now that I'm saying this, there was someone in the community who, let's see, where is he? Daniel. So he did a debt consolidation. With his help and insights, we had a confidence to make a decision on consolidating our debt, which freed up over $1,000 a month for our family. So just to be clear, I was working with him, and his wife made a decision. It wasn't like I, instructed him to make the decision. He's giving me some credit for helping him kind of get to that point. But it's true. They refinanced everything essentially, not refinanced, reconsolidated their debts on everything, and it did free up $1,000 in cash flow for them every month. Obviously, everyone's situation will be slightly different. And then what they were doing was they were using that $1,000 mostly towards paying off the debt faster. But then obviously they had other stuff that they needed to do with it. But yeah, it's just something to think about. So thank you so much for your question. Answered. Won't tell you which vid it's in. Smiley face. Does that mean? So that's that. So let's kind of cross that off the list. Wow, that's huge. Sorry. Where's the? Okay. And now let's talk about some community activity. I gotta say, the coolest thing that's in the community right now. Look at this. When you join this, you don't see my ugly face as a pinned comment at all, which is so cool. And how this happened was, so 7 days ago, I love posting wins here because I think it's so important that people join the community and they don't see like the person that owns the community up top here. Because I've seen so many communities. I was about to pull one up actually, but I don't want to call anyone out. Where it's just like, you get 3 spots to pin things in here, and it's just like community owner, community owner, community owner, and it's just like complete garbage. I hate when my face is all of these so much. So 7 days ago, I had to add Christy. She had a really cool win in here. She turned she says a big loss into a win. And then yesterday, 2 wins, Zaraha and Nicole had wins. And now I'm just like, I have to stack these in. They all have different levels of wins, but I think the idea of wins is like, hey, this person thought it was a win for them. And I agree with them. I think it is. But I wanted to share Nicole's. Because like, first of all, look how like short and sweet this is. This is great. But let me just read it to you. So I'm new here, and since joining, I finally sat down and put all my credit cards on paper so I can visually see what I'm spending on them. I've set up payment system to get my utilization down, and so far it's working. Next is my subscriptions. So she literally just, again, I haven't had a direct conversation with her, but she just did her own thing. She's like, you know what? I'm in here. I have to start doing something. So she organized her credit cards, and she wanted to see like how much she was spending on them each month. And then she set up a payment system, meaning I don't think she had this prior to joining the community, to help with utilization, meaning like for her credit score and all this other stuff. And so far it's working. And then she's like, I already have a plan next. I'm going to look at my subscriptions. And like, that's amazing. That's so cool. And a lot of people will just poo poo something like this. And that's why maybe, maybe people are stuck because they're not willing to do these small, simple tasks that they don't think have any value. And they're so valuable because what Nicole is doing is she's building up a habit of understanding her money. And that's so powerful. It's so cool. When I saw this come through, I was so excited. Because again, it's like people want these like big, sexy money wins, right? But no one wants to do the work that is required to get the big, sexy money win. So right now, Nicole is doing the work to eventually get the big, the big money win. Okay. So I just thought that was really, really cool. Depending on when you're watching this, I also want to tell you that at the end of this week, I'm no longer doing free strategy calls. So instead, what I'm going to be doing, and I think I drew it up here, just like a quick drawing. For all new members, what I want to do is like this 2 or 3 day sprint. So every single week, weekly. So if you join on, say, a Thursday, you're going to be in the next group coming in the next week, and more information to come. But I just think this is going to be more value for you. I'm going to be going through this this is free, by the way, completely free for all new members, and anyone inside the community, of course. But it's just going to be this like 2-day, 30-minute each call, sort of group call workshop kind of thing, where I'm just going through some of my frameworks in terms of how to find the extra $100. Because I think I want to get people some quick wins in here. And what's happening, I think, is I was dangling the strategy call, and unless you like really like me, or I don't know, maybe you're just like curious or something, I don't think it's that valuable unless you think I'm like the smartest person in the world, which I'm definitely not. So I think I'd rather just help you get a win in your finances fast. And this is the way that I'm going to do it. So more information on that coming up for sure. Guys, so I'm doing these videos daily, every single day. I'm building up, I just want to share stuff around my personal finance daily. So what I'm actually hoping this does is, yes, of course, bring awareness to my community and help more people with their personal finances, but also maybe if you take a step back and think about what I'm actually doing, I'm building up a daily habit or a consistent habit. Not all habits have to be daily, but I'm building up a consistent habit. So I kind of challenge you here to like what habits can you do consistently in your finances or your life, right? But your finances, let's focus on that, to take it to the next level. So if I think about like the community, it's like, oh, where do I want to take the community? It's like, okay, well, what would I have to do in order to make that happen? It's like, well, more people need to know about it, right? It's like, okay, well, why don't I just talk about it every single day? That seems like more people would see it. And it's not just the daily habit, but it's the iteration of like, hey, how do I make this better? How do I make this, whatever? Because that's why I took out the strategy call, and I'm trying something different in here. I'm trying new things, but I'm still doing the daily habit. So this is just me like trying to challenge you to think about, what am I doing daily or weekly or monthly or whatever, a consistent habit that's going to help me, win with my money. So that's it for this one, guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Have a good one.